Hey y'all, today we're going to look at the settings for your Google Classroom, and there are a couple of things in here that I want to point out that are actually really important. So, your class details are what you put in at the beginning when you create a class. You can change them at any point by going into your settings, which looks like a little gear. You can put in your class name, and then you can have a description and a section. So if you create 3 Algebra 1 classes and you have Section 1 and Section 2 and Section 3, then those will show up as separate classes. Okay, getting your students into your classroom has a couple of different ways you can do this. You can send them an invite link via their email. You can put the code on your board the first day of class. So that's actually what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to display the class code, and that's what it looks like. I usually put this up on the board, and then I tell the kids to go to Google Classroom and join a class, and then you just put in this code, and it'll take you directly into that class. Okay, here are settings for your stream. So if you let students post and comment, sometimes this can get out of hand. Or you can let students only comment so that they can't put anything in the stream. Or you can turn off student posting and commenting both. If you have set this to post classwork on your stream, which is actually really annoying. So every time you post an assignment, then it will show on the stream as well, and it will send out a notification, which is an email. So then they get like twice the amount of emails, which seems silly. If you post a lot of assignments, like 2 or 3 every day, you can set this to be condensed, and then it'll summarize the assignments for that day. You can show attachment and details. That's going to make your stream really, really long. So I advise you hide notifications for that. It just makes the stream much more user-friendly and less cluttered. Okay, deleted items. If you have created an assignment and then you decided actually you didn't want to do that, you can delete it. If you delete something that you didn't want to delete, you can turn this on to show the deleted items. Guardian Summaries is actually the way that you can get Google Classroom to communicate with Guardians for you, basically. So a Guardian Summary will send an email about once a week that looks like this. It will show missing work, right? The work that has not been submitted. It will show upcoming work, what's coming up for the next week, and class activities. So that's announcements, assignments, questions, quizzes, all of those things will go into class activity. Now, to get these email summaries to send, you have to turn this on, and you have to invite guardians. So I'll show you about that in a little bit. Guardian summaries are great, with the exception of the ability for students to mark things as done, right? So we talked about, it showed you that it was going to show you missing work, right? Work not turned in. But students can mark work as done without turning anything in. So very often I would get students, so that it didn't show up in missing work, to mark something as done without actually turning anything in. And that's very frustrating. Here is your gradebook, right? Settings. You can generate meet links in here. You can make them visible to students, and that way they will go to the same Meet, Google Meet, every time. It's just like a Zoom room. And that way they can come to your classroom and then just click on your Meet link, and they'll be in your virtual classroom. Okay, here's your gradebook, the settings for your gradebook. It can calculate overall grades. You can show your grade to students or not, and you can add grade categories. So we have 5 categories. We generally do homework and classwork, projects, tests, quizzes, and projects. So you can add your grade categories in here. For Hancock, we use facts, and so we wouldn't want to show the grade on Google Classroom to the students because they get it through facts. You can show the grade calculation by total points. So I usually end up with an odd number of points when I give a quiz. So it may be out of 57. So I would do total points. Or you can do that it's weighted by category, and that's completely up to you. All right, let's go look for Guardian summary stuff. You have to turn on Guardian summaries here, and then you have to go back out and go to people. And here are all my students, and I would have to invite a guardian for each one. You would type in your name or email. You can also send out an invite. But this is actually pretty cool because it allows you to email all of the guardians through Google Classroom. Here, you can email, remove, or mute students by selecting them in here, and this allows you to access students' emails without going into the big list that we have and seeing what their email actually is. To invite students, you can send out invite emails by clicking here and then typing in their email. It is much easier just to get them to type in the invite code. All right, so that's your information about your settings and your Guardian summaries. Here's your gradebook. And this is a super easy way to see what students are missing and what students have turned in assignments. So Lainey turns in lots of assignments, and I actually did not want my kids to turn in their assignments on Google Classroom because they were turning them into me in person. When we were online, then I expected them to actually turn in their assignments on Google Classroom. If they have turned something in, then you can click on these 3 dots and you can view their submission, or you can just return a grade. So if I type a grade in here, then I can just return that grade so that they can see it. Or you can view submission and see what they turned in. And here she didn't turn anything in, she just marked it as done. So it's then going to show as, it was green that it was done, but it wasn't really because you turned it in class.